So good morning, everyone. So let's talk about the reason why and why not we enter the trade. Okay. So it depends on it's a swing trade or it's a day trade. We're looking at different criteria, different catalysts, different technical analysis for swing trade and day trading. Okay. So for the purpose of the talk this morning, just want to focus on the day trade. Okay. I did a few lessons about the swing trade, how to manage the swing trades already, and Bob's had extensive lessons on it. You can watch it in the library. But in terms of day trading, we want to focus on the topic about day trading. Okay, so let's take a look at what we look for example. Okay, so as we talk here, we have eyes is moving. So for example, eyes right now. So let's take the reasons. Should we enter the trade? Take a few consideration on eyes. Okay, so eye has a catalyst. Okay, this morning. So that's one thing. Now we're looking for the patterns. Looking for a setup. So what do we see here? Anything? We see this stock, in the morning, pop going down. Supported right at these pre-market support. Then traded back, did the red to green move, and then coming down to the support level, which is the pre-markets here. Okay, that pre-market high turned into support, was the resistance, broke out, turned back, and turned into support, and now bouncing back up to this area. Okay, that's right now over the $7. So what we're looking at here, and we have to look at the left of the daily to see how far this thing can go. Okay, for example, we look at this here on the daily. Okay, so we see on the daily here. Okay. So we see on the daily here, there's probably room to $7.50 and $7.80 and even $8, right? And historically, this stock just today in the intraday, we see the stock move about every 50 cents or so. Okay, so from here you can see 635. When it broke out here, it went to 680. So about 50 cents move. And now we had the bounce back here. Now bouncing back from the 635 and break this area now that becomes your support now at 685. So let's say 50 cent, we can measure this 50 cent from 685, so that will be what is this? 735, okay? So not going to be exactly, but we look at this as a historical move in intraday. It's also a historical move in the past on the daily. Okay, so first we take consideration of why should we enter the trade? First question we asked is, does the stock have catalyst? Okay, does the stock have a catalyst? So let's do this. Okay, so number one, does a stock have a catalyst? Okay, number two, let's set up our pattern. And we see. Okay, where are support and resistance? Okay, the first two here, actually there's three: price action. Okay, so we're watching the price action on the level 2 plus the volume. Okay, so we look at these three here to decide if we're gonna get into the trade or not. okay? So we're looking at these three reasons here to decide we can get into the trade or not. And then once we decide, okay, this is probably a possible trade, then we look for where the supports and resistance, okay? So I just kind of went over quickly this earlier when we talked about this. So possible resistance here, you know, every 35-cent move, 50-cent move, so it's 735 resistance, and then we had 750, and then we got 780, and then $8 if it's to continue to the upside, okay? So they see it got quickly hit the 730s and then come back down. So we need to identify where the supports and resistance before we get into the trade. So we know where to get in and where we possibly get out, okay? Whereas we exit the trade so it doesn't go away, all right? So, and then we come up with a plan. Okay, all of this. Right? Entry, exit, okay? And stop, okay? All of this you can do within a minute, okay? I don't expect that everybody who start trading or have been trading for a while know all this, okay? So it takes some time to be able to do this very quickly. Now that's why you're here. That's why you're here. You need our help. Let us help you. Moderators or the other members in the room that can help you. And also, it's very important here that once we identify this, I would say it's not, it's very important too, is that I put it in here, you know, time of the day. Okay, what time of the day is it? Okay, what time of the day is it? So that we can see if this thing gonna work or may not work, so we can size this accordingly. Okay. So what time of the day is it? So we can size this accordingly. Okay. So those are some of the things that we want looking at. Let's say we don't have the catalyst, it's just the stock just popped because could be something that happened and that we don't know, somebody knew something, or it could be a chat room pop, okay? But if it has a setup, it has a pattern, you know, the price actions is good, and we can see the support and resistance, and the time of the day, let's say right in the morning, after 15 minutes in the morning, starting to kind of form in the trend, then we probably take a trade, right? Then we identify the support and resistance before we take a trade, okay? Come up with a plan so that we know exactly what we want to do, okay? I would never get into the trade without knowing this, without knowing where I get in and where I get out, okay? However, let's focus on the entry here. You know, this is all about this entry, okay? We can always exit and stop anytime when we click the button and we think we're wrong, we can always exit, get out at any time, but the key thing is where to end, where to enter the trade, okay? So besides identify the support and resistance, we have to know the time of the day and also ask the question what phase, okay? What phase, I'm talking about intraday, okay? Okay, what phase is that? Okay, that's it. That's why, you know, if trading is easy, just 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equal to 2, then everybody can do it. That's why you hear, you learn. I'm still learning. Now, I'm not an expert on anything, you know, but I know a few things that I can do things around here. Okay, I want to share with you. And so what phase of the day is this stock at? Okay. So let's take a look at, for example, football. Okay. Remember, we have the stock. The stock usually have this phase. Okay, what are the phase? We talk about the pump, the dump, the valve, and the fade. Okay, those are the four phases. So for example, we're looking at this football here. So we got the pump here in the pre-market or yesterday aftermarket. Okay, and then we got the dump here. And this is the market morning open. We look for the bounce. Okay, and like as I mentioned here, 21.15 need to sustain to be able to break over the descending top line, and it failed to sustain that level. So we moved the stop to below 20.50, which is right at the bottom of the previous the pre-market low. Okay, which is so. What phases? So we got a pump, the dump, and we're looking for the bounce. And if the bounce doesn't happen, then we're gonna go to the next. Most likely, gonna go to the next phase. Gonna be the fade. So the question is, if we see this, why should we take another long trade in here? Unless you scalp it, okay? But if you're looking for some sort of move that significantly meaningful move, more likely it's not gonna happen because it's gonna get into this phase, okay? So why are you wasting your time and energy and your capital trading something that may not be meaningful? Okay, use that some. Move on to the different stock. We got about 10,000 stocks plus 15,000 stocks, whatever, in the stock market, US stock markets, right? There's a lot of them out there. That doesn't mean that we're going to jump in any stock that move, okay? But at least we move our energies and efforts and capital to something else so that we don't waste our energies on it, okay? So, do you see what I mean here? Okay, so we have to identify those things. It's just the smart traders do their homeworks and taking consideration of different things. Now, once you know that, it's kind of in your head. I don't recommend you sitting there and analyze every trade, because by the time you analyze this, people already eat your lunch. Okay. But once you know these things, it's actually happened simultaneously in your head, or you can ask somebody in the room to help you with anything of any of these. Okay, what phase are we in? Okay, what patterns, what setup do we have? Right? Where are the supports and resistance? Do we have a catalyst behind the stock? Okay, and you can answer yourself what time of the day is, right? So, and where could I enter and where can I exit based on these support, resistance, and pattern setup? Okay. Now the stock is going to go the way that I plan? No, not necessarily. It's going to go the way we plan. For example, this morning I tried to scalp. What was it? Somebody alerted and they said LHDX or something. Yeah. Okay. So I tried to scalp it over here because I saw that started to break over here, the pre-market high, okay, plus the red to green move, moving the combo combination of this, but it's failed. See, it's only went up to 730 and then failed. Like I scalped in this case, I just was scalping, from 711 to 725, 735, 750. It's what I'm looking at, just scalping it. So That's another thing that, the scalping trades are different. You just look for the small move and you'll be pretty quick in and out. Okay. So that's a different strategy as well as if you just do scalping. Okay. So if it doesn't go your way, you just get out of the way because you don't want to stay against the bear when it starts to attack you. Okay. If you short it, if the ball's starting to run, you stay away from the, don't want to stay in front of the ball. Okay. So it's very important that you identify these and then see where we at in the process of the stock, where is it? It just still have more room to move. How the price action today? Look at the volume, the relative volume. Is there still room to move? And how's the price action to decide if this thing gonna go or not? Okay, you look at the level 2, you look at the price actions on see where they are, where's the stock at, how many sellers and buyers are there. Okay. So and what phase is in? Is that in the pumping phase? Is that in a dumping phase? Is it in a bounce phase? Is it in a fading phase? Okay. So to take those all in consideration, then you can make a very wise, educated guess on making a decision to take a trade or not. Okay. And not every trade can work out the way you plan, but if those will go the way you planned, you have risk and reward ratio that you factor into it, then you'll be doing okay. And you're risking 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. If you're doing 1 to 1, that's mean you're scalping. And then understand when you're scalping, that's you're just looking for a quick move and then you get out. Okay. So it depends on you what kind of trade that you're doing. Right? And if you have these and take these in consideration, and it just happens simultaneously in your head, and you can write it down. You try to practice this and do that, and in the simulator and practices until you can become your second nature. Like yesterday we mentioned, let's say we have a tendency of the habit creature, right? So we are habitual creature. We do things that been having a habit. Sometimes we just kind of have to change it so that we can make things different. Okay, we want to make things different, we have to change it. And with the changes, we have to train our mind, our body to react to it at the same way. So like let's say you have not been taking a shower in the morning, or you've been taking a warm shower that you feel comfortable. Now turn on the cold water. Okay, turn on the cold water, jump in there. Let's start with maybe 30 seconds the first day, and then increase it 45 seconds, a minute to 2 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, I wouldn't spend more than 5 minutes in the shower, in the cold shower. You want to get it cold. Okay. But that it actually help your heart, by the way. Take a cold shower in the morning. Okay, so physically and also mentally train you to react to different factors and maybe rewire our brain. Same thing as we were right-handed people. Try to brush our teeth with a left hand. Okay, activate that right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. Right? So put in your clothing, your pants on with your left foot first. Now you want to do right foot, just constantly doing it until it becomes just that you know what you're doing, okay? Until that becomes your nature. Same thing with trading stock here. You got to practice it until you can do all this stuff. Okay, until you can always do this stuff in a very short period of time. Okay, and like within a minute or so, you're able to look at all this. Okay, or less. Okay, so you pop it up in the stock, you can see that there's a catalyst on it. Okay, what pattern is this right now? Okay, look at a level 2, see what price action we have right now. Where the support and resistance by looking at the past history. Okay, some of the stock like the IPO today, we don't know. Let's say we have an IPW or something. Yeah, we don't know what the history of the stock is, but in the intraday, we can kind of draw some colors ranges. So we can trade, let's say you want to trade this one, look like right now we got 67, right? So easy enough. Give or take maybe a few pennies up and down, okay? Right. And then below that, we have about 565, 550 support maybe, right? So just looking for the ranges, okay? So is it easy enough? It's not too difficult. Don't make it too difficult, okay? So you can see here, you see right here, there's identified the resistance here, not able to go through it. Now the sellers take over, long getting out, so that coming back down now. What do we have? We have maybe the trend lines right here in the spot. It's about to crack right there. As if it hold it right there, it may probably bouncing back. But we have this morning, we have the pump, the dump here, and the bounce. And then this bounce not able to continue, which is right here. You need to hold over the $7 or so instead of the bounce. Otherwise, it's going to be fading here. We get into the fading phase. Okay. So at this point, if I'm consider going to take a long trade in it, no, unless it proves to me otherwise. But now I'm not going to take a long trade because it's now probably set up for this phase right now, faded. Okay. So I'm not going to take a long trade right now because it's more likely going to go on this unless it proves to me otherwise. If it come back and then get back above this support right here and over the 7. Okay. So that it stay in this trend line. But if I'm going to take the trade, what hours right now? It's lunch hours, right? And it's the stock already make its move this morning. My size going to be smaller than this morning. Okay, so take all those in consideration, then you're going to do much better. Okay, you may lose, you lose smaller, but when you win bigger. Okay. So Donald, so the market, so it depends on what I'm trading. Okay. If I'm trading the big stocks, okay, I'm going to be more worried about the overall market. All right. But I'm trading quickly. I just take a quick trades on these penny stocks, low, small caps. The overall market have some impact, yes, it does, but it's not a major. Okay, it's probably minor. And of course, when we in the bear market, the impact of the overall market can lay on this as pertaining to the sell, whether the supply and demand. So it affects the demand where, not many people want to enter the trade or participate in the trade. Now with lack of demand, so if we lack of demand, then the price, the stock might not continue. It's be hard to follow through on the stock. So we're looking for to make a quick long and maybe short it of the resistance. Okay, but in the bull market, more likely the stock to follow through, then you might have a longer run. Okay, so let's say in the bull market, you might have 5-way up. Okay, in the bear market and the penny stock and the small cap, you might have 2 ways. Okay, so you may have 3 ways, and that's it. So it does, in a way, it does have an effect on the small cap, not like T to T. Okay, not like tick to tick. Just like you look at the Microsoft versus the SPY, it's more probably an Apple, maybe tick to tick with the SPY. Okay. So you see that they look pretty similar. Okay. However, you traded the small cap, then it does have an impact, but not like tick to tick. But we might not have a full 5 ways up. Okay, maybe 2, maybe 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so take that in consideration too. It's a great question, by the way, Donna. Okay, that way so that you don't chase it. Okay, or you probably flip to the short side. Okay. All right. So for example, now we're looking at Chris. Okay, so Chris, I see it paid for the guy who took action, not the guy who know about it. So I saw Chris on my phone. I probably have an alert somewhere in the past. So when it broke out this way, I think it's more over $12 something. It got on my phone and I saw it, and then I say, okay, the stock pop and halt. And then Bob saw that probably, and he took action and he make money. So the world pay for the people who attack action, not to talk, right? So what I share with you that so that you can learn how to do it and then take action on it. Okay, so you don't have to spend a whole lot to analyze it. Once you do it, you can do it within a minute or so, or last a few seconds maybe. Okay, by looking at pretty quickly, looking at the charts, looking at the price action, look at the support and resistance. You don't know, ask quickly. Don't hesitate. And then, look at your clock. What time of day is it? Okay. And what phase is we in? Okay. Is it a pump? Are we in a pump phase? Yes. Let's run it. All right. Let's get in the trend, baby. Are we in a dumping side? Okay. Maybe go watch the waterfall. Watch how long. Maybe do a quick bounce play. All right. Are we in the fading phase? Okay. So go back to the football. Okay. So why are we trying to fight with this and get into this wasting no time? Okay, it's in the fading phase unless it's time to go back and break over the descending top line, get back to the bull phase. Okay, there's gonna be some poison in the mood that you can do the bounce play. But that is scalping. Okay, scalping trades is a different strategy. Okay, but this is kind of overall that you want to do a trade that can help you to have the skill that like a tool on your belt. Okay, that's a tool on your belt. You got to do all this stuff so that you can have a general tool. Okay, it's a general tool. This is just like a plier. You can do different things with the plier, right? You can nail, you can turn, open, close. Take out a nut. So this is general tool here. Okay. All right. So and that way, before we take a trade, and why not we enter the trade when you do all this stuff, okay? And then you have a general idea that you should take a trade or not. Now, don't overanalyze it. That's one of the things that a lot of people who us that we maybe have the past experience where we lose money and we get scared, and we became our own analyst. How you are your own analyst. You start to analyze every single thing. When you overanalyze it, and by the time you're done analyzing, especially for those of you engineers, engineer background, I don't want to generalize it, but yes, I have friends that are engineers, and I kind of know that they overanalyze everything. If you give them a cookie, they're gonna analyze the cookie. See, is it grand? Is it gluten free? Is it chocolate chips? Or is it they start to analyze every single thing. Okay, so don't overanalyze it either. All right, so that's it, guys. Any questions on it? Hope that helps. All right. So take it. Do this when you become second nature. When it becomes second nature to you, you're going to do it pretty quickly. So it looked like a lot of steps, but it's just like not that long. All right. So any questions?